Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back for another recap review show here at Big O Bell Media for Power Book for Force, episode 7 of season 2. Chicago is heating up. We got this episode directed by Sharon Lewis and written by Anthony Florez. Lucas and I are here to break this entire episode down. Sir Lucas, how you doing today?
Hey, just wondering, why was Janard trying to kill Tommy in the car? I'm confused here. I'm confused. This 1 minute he's back in CBI, the next minute Tommy, you gonna get it. Like I don't understand the swing of his emotions, especially now that is this withdrawals that he's going through that's causing him? That's causing him to just I almost expect him to bang the gun against his head, like, Tommy, you're gonna get it. Like, it didn't make any sense. But we here to talk about the craziness of this episode.
You know what I want to know? I got questions about, actually, before I complain, let me talk about the blessing of this episode. Thank you, stars. Thank you, stars legal. Thank you, stars contractual team, for getting that clause in bright and early for Miss Gianna. She did it exactly how I needed her to do it. She said, hey, fuck that date. I'm trying to stay in there today.
You already knew he answered the door with his shirt unbuttoned.
Dog, that blew me. That blew me so bad, bro.
Like we didn't know where this was going.
Hey, that was a scene straight out of a 90s R&B music video, bro.
Not even 90s R&B. That was straight off of, if y'all are old enough to remember, that's straight off of Red Shoe Diaries that used to come on Cinemax at night. Where she come in, oh, forget dinner, I'll be your dinner. And then magically she pulls off the red dress and has on matching red lingerie. You can tell she ain't had none in a minute. Like, women don't wear lingerie no more. Who was that? That's not for me. I didn't see Savage Fenty on there. Like, what Kmart version of lingerie are you up here wearing?
Hilarious. Anyway, we got so much to talk about with this episode. We're getting close to the end of the road here for season 2.
Yep.
So you already know a lot of the plot, the lot of the pivotal plot points are going to start bubbling up till we get that ultimate resolve for the season finale. But we're going to start at the top of the episode as we always do. You all get in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about tonight's episode, your favorite moments. Be a part of the conversation in the comments below. Starting off with Tommy and Mariah, because if there's one thing we're going to do here at Big O Belt Media, we're going to get names wrong. So whether it's Lucas in the years of shows that he's got names wrong, or me who finally get one wrong and y'all are just letting me have it.
Now I understand the shade that y'all was talking about last episode. You see how he just had to bring up the countless times. He said the countless times Lucas has got a name wrong, and I get one wrong, and y'all won't let me live it down.
Bro, I mean, you wasn't even trying at points, and they gave you passes, and I get, tell him, Lucas, it is Mariah. You've been telling him the whole time. Yes, okay, yes, I apologize. Yes, it is Mariah. But
they ride for Lou. They understand.
They do.
I say it like black people. Like, of course I'm gonna get it wrong. It's okay. I'm getting close to it at least.
Yeah, exactly. We all got that one uncle who just refuses to get our name right and don't even care.
I got somebody older who I work with who called me Lucius still. And I just gave up correcting him. It's just absolutely no point at this time. I've been Lucius for 15 years. So I said, you know what? We might as well just go with it.
Okay, Lucius Lyons over here. Oh man, you know what's so funny about our fans? We really can't get anything right. You self-proclaimed that you had the Forrest Whitaker eye, and somebody was like, "Nah, you got the Biggie eye."
You just gave me something I did. I don't even know what the Biggie eye is. I know what a Forrest Whitaker eye is.
Oh
I didn't even know, like, what does that mean?
Oh my god! Hey, real talk. y'all like the most amazing fan base, like the power fan base universe. Even the fans here at Big O Bell Media, you all are amazing. Y'all really do make each one of these videos worth it. But yeah, let's start at the top of the episode here. We got Tommy and Mariah. I know it is. It's Mariah. Who have sex only for Miguel to show up doing a house call. And you know, this is the conversation about the Serbs and what happened in the projects. And Tommy, a little, you know, he's obviously showing that something's going on. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to go as far as saying panicking, but like, you know, he definitely got his hand caught in the cookie jar right now. But you know, this is the situation where Tommy comes up with a plan brilliantly and says, let's cut the Serbs off completely. But Miguel says, listen, I'm gonna need you to stand down, you and your crew, obviously CBI, and whatnot. Only for Mariah to come out and says, like, listen, we can't keep playing pretend forever. And you know, she talked about her story about, you know, her ex and what happened. I don't know, was it here or later on, whatever, regardless of whatever it may be. But the other really key thing about this scene is also she pulls the gun from out of Tommy's back and basically showed no fear holding a gun as well too. Like, we're still on to Mariah, and these clues are starting to add up. But she pulled that gun from out of his back, knew exactly where it was at, had no fear of holding a gun, and basically was like, you know, this. I guess you can almost say like she sort of concurred that this isn't going to be enough to protect us at this point. Nonetheless, what's your thoughts about the opening scene, Tommy and the sex scene, which you commented on last week? And here we go again.
I don't know what it is with Tommy and his sex scenes. All of them are awkward. I don't know what it is. He has the most like, this whole scene was awkward. And then for Miguel to pop in, I mean, it was odd that he popped in the way he did, and then he's just looking around the room. Yeah, the Serbs. But let me look around his apartment to see if something's around here.
I help myself to your bar. Yeah. Also, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like his detail. If he's like the head guy, did he just show up to somebody's crib by himself? When did we establish that Tommy and Miguel had that level of trust?
When do we establish that Miguel knew where Tommy lived? Nigga,
everybody.
How do you just know where I live at?
Yeah,
like Tommy's little getaway is becoming Ghost's penthouse. Everybody knows where it is.
1,000%.
It's cheers. Everybody knows. Nigga, show up, Tommy. He opens the door. Like, it made not that it didn't make much sense, but you understand that possibly it's because Miguel is nervous at where they stand after the attacks. So he's like, okay, maybe I need to go to them because they respond to this, is going to destroy my business. And I'm assuming that's what he was thinking. Is like, this is going to destroy my business if they respond. But it's just weird to show up at that moment. And it's set up to build fear out of the audience that something's going to happen with him finding out that Tommy's sleeping with his sister. Like, that's the way it's built to look like. But clearly it just felt weird to open up the episode with him just randomly showing up at a place we've never seen him before to ask Tommy questions that he literally could have asked over the phone. It's one of the things like, you really did we need to talk about this here?
Yeah.
No, we didn't at all. It was unnecessary, but it helped establish that she still has fear of her brother in a way, or at least into Tommy's perspective, that she still has fear of her brother and what he can do. Yeah. Later on in the episode, we'll talk about why I think that's all BS. Because Nana said way too much at that damn dining room table for me not to pay attention to what she was saying.
Yeah. And like, I also think too, like the show, and you know, we talked about it last week with our special guest Sam, who runs the Instagram page, Power is Fire, how, you know, all these things are always intentional, but what I'm starting to notice a lot more than none is these very coincidental moments. Like, you know, Tommy, you know, in the diamond scene where he's like, "You sure you don't have anything else to tell me about Janard?" Like, what? So like, who would just regularly just after one moment saying Janard's back, question. And then you're just like, "You sure you don't have anything else to tell me about Janard?" Like, why? And there were some scenes in this episode that did it as well. This being another one that Miguel shows up, like the head guy right now, bottom of the
No
totem pole
security.
for
No
security,
no guards.
not his
Nothing.
one man that's been sizing everybody up. When did we ever establish? And like it honestly, it would have made more sense, like logically, if Miguel would have showed up with all of his boys and they circled the apartment, because Miguel has to sit still, help himself to the bar, have the conversation. Everybody else is gonna be like, huh, just where you live at? Let's see what's all in here. Easily Mariah gets spotted. But they had to go this route, which goes back to your point. They definitely could have did this almost got busted scene just a little bit better here. It just, there's a lot of little things that just was kind of like, what? But I digress. Let's move to the next scene here. And in the next scene, we have Diamond getting his piss test, and his PO officer. Is that what the guy is? I forget. PO officer.
Yeah, that's PO.
Yeah, parole officer. Yeah. So Reeves, excuse me. He wants
damn, because I did not think his name would be Reeves. So wait a minute.
My guy, my guy's Dominican. It's Reeves. It's Reeves. Okay,
that is the country's looking Dominican I've ever seen.
Diamond's parole officer Reeves wants him to speak at the fundraiser for the displaced residents for the Crimson Project, but also wants him to renounce his CBI affiliation. So obviously his parole review is coming up. Tommy texts him. And while Diamond does not feel like this is the move for all of the logical reasons that absolutely this is the answer, it seems that his parole officer still planted a seed in his head that he still somehow, some way wants to consider. I could not imagine where this episode ended and what was the determining factors for him to do so. But at this point right now, for you, sir, what was your thoughts about this very off-brand plot point in this episode that he needs to make a speech here for the greater good of the city of Chicago?
I don't know why Diamond Luther King needed to make this speech here to make the city safe. It didn't make any sense at all. But it brought up questions of why not renounce CBI? Who the hell is going to believe you? It's a random speech. No one's going to care. No one's going to be like, oh shit, you heard Diamond say he ain't with CBI no more. No, they know you are because they buying drugs from you right now. Like that, it had no real impact.
Everybody's buying drugs from you.
Yeah, everybody's buying drugs from you. You and Tommy. Everybody's buying drugs from you too. So even if you said you hadn't with CBI, no one's going to believe you anyway. Yeah. So it didn't make sense, but it felt just like a way to build the relationship up with Diamond, Leon, and Gianni. That's what it felt like. It felt like this is another plot point to help build that relationship up. Because other than that, the PO even asking him out the blue, you know what you need to do? I know you're a former drug dealer and you have poisoned the community for many of years, but if you can speak up for the displaced people in the projects, that would be greatly appreciated, and it would look good on you to the parole board. Why would it? Because he said something? Because he had a little speech? Yeah. Magically, they're going to be like, you know what? All those past crimes are forgiven.
Yeah.
Good job. You're on parole now. No. It just didn't really make sense. But again, it's just a plot point for me to help build that relationship that Diamond wants for some odd reason, because we're gonna get into that later too, because I got questions about that one too. Like all of this is, I think they're trying to paint a picture of Diamond as someone that's conflicted, or that someone that will be conflicted of, is this the route I want to go, or do I want to be out of it? It's almost the same conflict that, I know people hate the comparison, it's literally the same conflict that Ghost had.
Get him. Don't you compare Ghost and Diamond.
Like, am I in or am I out? And this is showing that with him, of him now attempting to establish that maybe Diamond wants a family. If he wants his family, he can't be in this game. He has to exit this game. These aren't kids he's raising in it like we had with Ghost, as they raised their two to sometimes one to sometimes three children. But this is a situation where he's coming into a kid who's already kind of looking up to him. And the last thing you want to do is find out you're still doing all the negative stuff that puts you in jail. So I think it's building that conflict for Diamond and him wondering, what am I going to do here? Am I going to leave the game for love, or am I going to love the game? Which one's going to be, lack of a better word, which one is going to be your bitch? The game or Gianna? It's got to be one or the other. Can't be both.
I honestly don't have anything to say about this. So I'll wait till later on, to be honest, because it's just like these first couple of scenes, I was thinking like, wait, what? Like, what show am I watching right now? I was just really thrown off by some of it. But, you know, we try to break it down. We try to bring some logic to it. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm on Gilligan's Island. I need somebody to come rescue me. Because your boy is lost right now. I'm trying to make it, man. I just think there's better execution for both of these things that they potentially could be trying to develop. And like I said it all the previous weeks about Diamond is that hood figure that little kids, I'm not gonna say could, or I'll put it this way, could idolize. Or he could be that influence on the little kids or in the community that they understand that he's the big boss. I think having a conflict such as, you could have did this another way. The little girl that got murdered could have been somebody he was mentoring, somebody he was close to, and he sees the effects of what he's done in the community, and that senseless murder or calls him to be conflicted. Instead of this, like, this chick that they don't really want to be with him.
Plant these seeds earlier with him and a PO. If you had a situation where him and his PO was really, besides the free haircuts, when he was trying to push Diamond to do that to help the community, I know some people are going to point to that and say, see, he was trying to begin it. No, that was haircuts. If he would have laid out some groundwork of saying, hey, it's going to look good for you if you renounce CBI and do stuff to help the community. If those seeds were planted over these episodes and then we got to this one, it would be more understanding, except for something that seemed to just come out the blue because they shot up the projects. You should speak to the projects. I'm sorry, the projects would know why he went to jail, because he wasn't a little drug dealer. He didn't have a little organization. Pretty sure a lot of them think this nigga got something to do with these shootings. We ain't had these shootouts till he got home from jail. You know, we're not gonna act like black people don't put two and two together pretty quickly when it comes to drug dealers.
Except for Stacy.
Well, Stacy McMahon, which is her name now, because if she growls like Stephanie McMahon one more time at Vic for not giving her information for Tommy, like she's just single-minded, single-focused. But it was just, again, it felt rushed to get to the point of him giving that speech, and then you bring the speech, the correlation of him doing the speech to when Leon did the speech, and it's like, oh, look at the connection between the two, and
that just blew me so bad. That blew me so. Hey, listen, can we also not forget that Diamond has now have 3 girlfriends? Let's not forget.
No. He had one girlfriend, and he left her at the beginning of the season.
Through text.
He was, through text, and they was hot and heavy in the first season. And he hit her with the just bye bitch text, and then that was the end of their relationship. But no, the cop was just business. I think he was just screwing her. Like, not a real relationship, granted, but
hold on.
This is a relationship because she didn't. They didn't even officially go out anywhere. Bro. She gave him the draws off of him, like grabbing a bag of groceries and bringing her son a comic book. If it's that easy to get, nigga, if all I had to do to get your cheeks is to buy your son a punk ass comic book, just what collection he want?
Yeah, exactly. No, and I mean, let's not also forget that Gianna said, like, she not. I mean, we broken up, but like we not over with yet about her husband. Like,
nah, that's the shit that get niggas killed. That bullshit about, like, that's bullshit about, you know, we live under the same house, but we ain't together no more. So I don't want you to know. She said, I don't want you to think I'm stepping out on him because we've been ended. Bro, he just threatened you with Miller Lite at your house. Y'all are together. Like, you will not set me up.
Do you know how better that conversation would have been before what happened. Like if he would have thought it was sweet and he came over and my man walked in, also I'm like, who the hell is he? And he Diamond like, oh wait, hold on, I thought you, and it just popped off like that. I think
a different conversation would be had.
It changes the whole Tubi moment of like the very like, yeah. Let me start complaining. We gotta get this. If y'all feeling this, man, y'all let us know in the comments, man. Y'all let us know.
Episode is good. It's just it's questions about certain execution that didn't make sense here.
Yeah.
And she fucked for a comic book. I want y'all to know that.
Yeah.
She fucked for a comic book.
Chicago looking real sweet out here. I mean, what? Hey. Vic got the $50. No, wait, he got the free head, tipped it at $50 in the liquor store. My man picked up the Branson, some neck. And robbed the store all in the same token. What a wild day out in the streets of Chicago.
Bad women out there, Joe, fucking crackheads. Like, I don't know what's going on in Chicago, Joe. You got a white girl up in this show giving it up to anybody for power. Well, that's normal, but I mean, it's normal in any street, in any city. But it's just like the point is highlighted here. It's weird. Like, this is forces becoming like a soap opera, a true soap opera at times with some of these relationship builds, which is not a bad thing because technically the original Power was a soap opera.
1,000%.
So you need to work it that way.
1,000%.
You just didn't expect this many people to have sex scenes in their contracts.
1,000%.
I'm waiting for Grandma. I know Grandma got one in there. Grandma gonna get them cheeks up to somebody.
Oh boy. Stacy Marks and her husband Bobby. They're obviously having their very loud pitched, and not even just by vocals, but like this conversation is just very loud. It's like a lot of moving parts to it, where Stacy's ordering a full court press on Vic. But also we get a visit by DOJ Lori Lewis, who I appreciate this character's appearance, because this character comes in and says everything we've been saying the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on in this city? And not just because, you know, drugs is happening or Tommy's there, whatever it may be, but like there's a whole apartment complex get blown up. A little girl gets shot. There's obviously chaos going on here. And that's like, to me, and that's the thing where it's like, how is the focus on Tommy when the optics of everything that's happening is beyond him? Yes, he may be involved, but like at this point now, you start to shift your target to the Serbs. They literally
the people who actually shot up the projects.
Not once has she mentioned the Serbs. She's mentioned Miguel. She's mentioned she hasn't even really mentioned the cartel. CBI.
She got Vic. She ain't caring about what happened to Walter Flynn and questioning how did your whole team get killed. Like,
exactly. Why isn't the question who was responsible for what happened at the Flynn's compound? Which at this point she can say, all right, well, it looks like there's a bunch of Irish bodies there. Were they on the same side? Were they not? Was there somebody else that came through and cleaned everybody? We need an assessment
group that would come and do all these killings. Is this a group we need to worry about? Nothing.
Because
if this white woman who randomly shows up concerned about a shootout at the projects, I hate to tell you, that's not believable. I don't think she's coming to care in Chicago about a shootout in the projects, because then we would have to act like stuff like that don't happen often in Chicago and no one cares about it. Like it's the correlation, again, a lot of the correlation here is not fully making sense here. Like and I'm assuming it is because they want to piece together things as the season goes on to progress, and then you see the true intentions of these characters. But right now it's so vague. We still don't fully understand. I know people are trying to throw out hints. We don't understand why Stacy is just so single track minded on Tommy.
Yeah.
And you're oblivious to everything else around you. It makes no sense to put all those eggs in that basket. It makes no sense that Vic is your CI and you're acting like you've never had a CI before. And you're like, no, you're gonna wear wire now. No, we're gonna press you out now. Like, why the fuck would you meet with your CI multiple times in public? I've seen enough Chicago PD. You never meet with your CI in public. That's the last thing you do. You don't meet with your CIs in public. Not this many times. It makes no sense. It seems like she's just so far above her head that everybody's going to pay for it in the end because she doesn't know what she's doing.
Right. And even with Vic telling Stacy that the Serbs were behind the Crimson Project fires, like that should have automatically
shifted quick.
Yeah. It should have shifted their focus instantly.
How many dead people are in the street? And you like, who cares? What about Tommy? What's Tommy doing?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's because you kind of semi blame Tommy for one body that got one little kid that got killed. We saw an entire project get shot up. And you like, nah, but what's Tommy doing? Like, I understand you talking about these Serbs, but what's Tommy doing?
Oh, it's sad, man. They don't care about black people. Heard that before a bunch of different times.
Even a black person don't care about black people. But it's odd because normally they don't want to like get the white man. Like, that's not normally the target is not the white boy.
Make it make sense. And then like again, like the DOJ is obviously getting restless with not only just the state of the city, but the lack of results from the task force. So Stacy even saying they have Vic on the inside just isn't going to be enough. But you know, I guess they're hopeful, but the time that their windows is slowly closing because they're trying to get a RICO on Tommy, which is her big focus here. And as she mentioned to Bobby, they're just trying to get something to report on and whatever. So Shanti, first of all, Shanti had a glow up episode here, and we've been asking for it. And I'm actually very excited to see. I've been very much anticipating and excited to see this character start to really boom. We talked about last week. They did it this episode, man. We got a lot of Shanti, and Shanti bossed up on Raheem to remain loyal or else. Gave him the ultimate ultimatum. You know, she let it know what it is, and then she starts to talk about like how Janard is bad for business, and also self-proclaims that she is smarter than everybody. I'm not sure if you want to talk about Shanti now, but if you do, the question is, what do you think about the true introduction of Shanti finally?
Whoever that second in command, I'm sorry. I try to be as progressive as humanly possible. But ain't no way I'm supposed to believe that
showstopper
grabbed
showstopper, man.
That grabbed that grown ass man. That
showstopper, man.
And slammed his head. You will be a showstopper. You will be. And you will get show-stopped into the ground. Come on, dude. I understand though that you want her to appear bigger than life, but damn it, if we gotta have some realism here, she's not that big of a person. Unless he's a complete lightweight, it would make no sense. But then he couldn't be her second in command. I did like the speech. Her speech was on point when he's telling her how you appear in these streets, and she said, "You're supposed to have my back no matter what. If they talking about me, you're supposed to say something to them about that." But in his defense, you are fucking a crackhead. Like, I'm sorry. Crackheads get you digmatized. I'm gonna question everything about you. Like, everything about you. We have problems here.
Hey, if there's anybody in the comments that has been digmatized by a crackhead, please let us know if these results are accurate.
If you have been digmatized by you know what? I ain't even gonna say that. I understand. A couple of y'all not only been digmatized by crackheads, there's a couple folks out here and who got kids with crackheads because of that reason. So I can't even say that. And it's not just a woman thing. It's men out this junk who, you know, your baby mom, you had to do what you had to do for them 9 months to make sure she ain't take a hit. Like, look, I don't need nothing to do with my baby. Just don't smoke it until the baby born. Like, I understand that this can happen, but again, it's just, it bossed her up so fast this episode.
Yeah,
like,
I'm with it.
Damn,
I'm with it.
Like, we didn't see any form of progression that this would be her attitude.
0 to 100. 0 to 100 with this one.
And I can't even say she's like, because last time I compared her to Rock because I thought the moves that she was making. No. She came across like Jason or one of the niggas who was just like slamming people against stuff. And I'm like, what the? it just threw me when she slammed that nigga on that counter and held him down. I'm like, you like 140 pounds? What big is he
Showstopper.
supposed to be?
Showstopper.
I don't give a fuck what name they give her. That bitch, she could be Ronda Rousey, okay? or Charlotte Flair, because I always use Charlotte Flair because that nigga pop up out of anywhere to fight. She'll give fuck where you at. You be at Whole Foods and Charlotte Flair see you got a title, she gonna want to fight. That's what it reminded me of with her. Like it's just that instant anger. I didn't love it, but I didn't like them going over the top with the physical aspects of it, except for in the ring. That will make sense when they're boxing.
Yeah.
But outside the ring, I would just have questions like, yeah, nah.
Raheem just is a character we probably should talk a lot more about next week. If I don't get this, I don't have this character like making it out this season, but Raheem has been sort of that companion to Janard, Shanti, just with everything that's kind of happening. Like, I'm sure he has a lot to say in his personal time, and I'd be interested to hear. By the way, too, in all inclusion here, if you are a crackhead and you're like one of our listeners, please let us know if you've ever digmatized somebody. We also would love to hear your comments as well about your testimony.
Love to hear how you did it.
We may even give you a seat at the table for the finale, man. If you got some personal insight about your crackhead actions, we may got something for you.
Discriminate, just because you have a habit don't mean you can't produce good content. It's lots of people who got podcasts who have pretty severe habits. So you're not alone. Trust me, you're not alone.
And if you've been in the back of the Crown Vic, I don't know. We just will let you have that. I don't think we need to hear that.
We need to hear about it. What drew you to that conclusion? That would be the way to do things. Yeah. But again, for Shanti, I think we need to. Just that one scene was my issue. I loved every other aspect of her in this episode. That a much physical nature by her just threw me off. Yeah. I'm like, okay, as tough and as hard as Rock is, we've never seen them do that with Rock. Rock has other ways to intimidate.
Yeah.
And that's what I was expecting from them to do with Shanti, is not give us the physical nature of it, but the mental part of it. Because she seems like she can really outthink a lot of people, which I agree when she said, I'm smarter than all you, Nick. I love that part of it. Just didn't like the physical part of it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm buying that she's smarter than everybody, but I think the physical part was why they wanted to make sure that she was very much labeled as a boxer and she ran the gym, because I think the physical part will be detrimental to her leadership. And we'll see. I just think this is a strong introduction for finally of a character that they've been building up all season in terms of like that anticipation of who she could be,
what she could do,
and what she can do, and this is finally it. So it took all the way into episode 7 for us to get the truth.
Even punk Claudia to make her hard.
1000%. Getting to the next scene, this one's going to be interesting. We have a CBI meeting. Now, season 1, I remember you very adamantly saying there's no way you could ever take Jeremiah as a gangster serious. Well, I don't know if you all have peeped the cameo here, especially my wrestling fans here, but Mr. David Otunga is here. Harvard law graduate. I think he's ex-husband of Jennifer Hudson, right? Yeah, yes, they were married. Ex-husband. Love Jennifer Hudson, by the way.
You've been nice by naming, giving him all those names. I remember him. I want to say this, I'm right. Didn't he play Punk on I Love New York?
I'm just going to let go.
That's him.
Do you believe him as a gangster? Do you believe this? Okay,
no.
Let's go.
I believe him as a Tyler Perry villain, a lawyer who beats women. That's what I believe him as. Not as a gang. The moment he showed up, I'm like, could we got a better wrestler? It's plenty of wrestlers that I believe
I'll be fair.
Be gangsters.
I'll be fair. He wasn't distracting. That's all I'll say. Jeremiah was distracting. Little Zane was super distracting to be a map. Yeah. But
no, he just said muscles. I mean, but it makes sense because I'm guessing he's not a leader. He didn't come across as one of the leaders. He came across as somebody's muscle.
Yeah.
So it would make sense. He's big and he's muscle. Like he could be somebody's muscle, but he still doesn't come across as. He should have been a smart nigga, the educated nigga in the suit. If he was
No.
an educated nigga in a suit, I'd have been like, oh,
they're just it's the typecasting. They do that, but I mean, like the point of this scene is obviously because they're trying to get the correlation going across all of the different territories, et cetera, et cetera. So I think you need to show a little bit of diversity, some new faces for everybody who's coming to the table. But in the meantime, we see Tommy calling the shots, Janard and Vic watching. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we're still very much early in this episode, but I will say that Janard and Vic seem to be students to the game here. Which is interesting, but at the other side of the coin, it's interesting because we are seeing Tommy truly be a leader. I think this is truly the protege of Ghost right here. This is I think
we see this completely differently. No.
Okay.
I see this as the beginning of the end. Because
I mean, I'm not saying that the strategy works, but I'm saying that he's able to develop a plan. We typically saw Tommy either co-signing a plan with Ghost or a sub-tier plan of the ultimate plan of Ghost. Because it was always like Ghost says, we're going to do this. Tommy, you do this. And then Tommy goes and have to do the thing that Ghost told him to do. We see Tommy orchestrating the plan, not saying it works. And then, like, you know, obviously later on in the episode, I fully agree with that person we'll talk about. But
yeah,
just to see him, I almost want to like say like have that courage, you know, that will to get up there and say we're going to do this, folks. And like I'm like, all right, fine. Like this is why he wanted to go out and be on his own, because he's always wanted to be that guy, and now he's seizing the moment. So that's where I'm looking at it. But and obviously I think there's a lot more to talk about this later on. Vic,
did he do this when he had 2-bit in Smurf? This is like fake. He trying to put together a coalition of people. This is Tommy. This is literally a plan that he did in New York that did not work. He brought it to Chicago and said, "You know what? We gonna rehash this one. Now I just need to get all the
2-bit gonna show up now." But
that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, 1,000%. But again, like Janard and Vic, I think them looking at them realizing that like they're so far behind and even ever thinking they could do something like this. And just for Janard and Vic to come outside and they're talking about Claudia and whatnot. So I think even with that acknowledgement about and by the way, like Tommy and Diamond with them sat in that little meeting. So you had CBI, Kilos, the RDs, the Bones, all the different groups. And this is also sort of just to set up an establishment and also agreement to not rage a war against the Sirs, which we know that some folks were not going to be on the same page with. But, you know, as Tommy reassured, he has it taken care of on a higher level. And as I mentioned, Vic and Janard talking about their issues with Claudia. So there's that.
Cocaine UN. That's what we're going to call it from now on.
And then Tommy and Diamond, Diamond just asking about what happened. Why he said he had it taken care of, and he talked about the discussion he had with Miguel about cutting Serps off. But now we get an interesting part where we get Claudia and Shanti, where they're talking about how they can make a business move together, with Claudia being the Pill Connect and Shanti being the distro. They even settled on a 50-50 deal. They want to stay clean of CBI and no man in sight. This is, my friend, the introduction to feminist drug dealing. And I'm not even being funny about that. I'm not even being funny about that. But I think it should be noted that Claudia seems to be very, very anti-man. Do you think, or what do you think about Claudia's stance about like always having a bit of the dialogue about how we can do this without man? Is this a level of
it's her dad?
Yeah,
it's the acceptance that she never got from her dad because she was a woman, and she's like, you know what, I need to prove that I can do this and not need a man at all. We don't need a man to help us do it. We don't need a man to establish anything. Sisters are doing it for themselves. We can do it by ourselves. We don't need anybody else. I love the messaging here because it's true to Claudia's character, that she understands, like, if I'm going to do this, I need to prove that I can do it without them. And I need to prove that women can actually do this, that you can have strong women that can Clearly, it helped already by establishing Shanti as a muscle. So now you got the woman who could do that. I don't need a man to do it. And then you clearly put them in there with men, and then you have them do what they did to the men. It's messaging 101.
Yeah.
It's to show all the little girls out there who watch Power, who watch these shows, that you too can lead a drug cartel. And you too can take over. You don't need to read for you to take over. You could just run it by yourself. You don't need to be Rock and have Lou and all the other dudes. You could do it with a team of your girlfriends. Granted, women hate women, so eventually you're going to turn on each other. It's just natural. This happens. That's just the way it works in this world. Women hate women. So eventually you're going to turn on each other, but you can at least establish it together. Yeah. This is like a gentrified version of Set It Off. That's what you got here at the beginning with Claudia and Shanti and the girls in the back.
Yeah.
Because Shanti's a pimp too. Like, we really need to get into her business. Shanti got girls, she got drugs, she got boxers, she got corners. Shanti is like an all-stop shop of enterprising illegal activities.
Yeah. I think this is very odd that Shanti's connection extends this far, and it was just now only discovered because Claudia asked the question she asked. Just, she talked about the territories, but she never talked about being so connected in these high profile spaces, though.
If we think about it, though, then it would play almost identical to what's going on with Claudia. She can have these connections, but because she's a woman, are they gonna care?
I'm trying to figure out.
That's the angle they're playing. I'm not saying logically, I don't think that would ever be the case, but that's the angle they're playing. Like, because she's a woman, they're not even gonna ask. They just assume. Diamond said himself, even Janard said it. Well, if you bring me back, I bring Shanti with me. When all honesty, it's the other way around. Shanti's the person with the people and the money and the everything.
Janard was the one who said that. Tommy and Diamond knows the truth behind that. As Tommy was like, he was like,
when he said they got to meet,
1,000% right. And also, I'm just curious, like, Club Gloria. There's girls in there too. Claudia, you could possibly be doing something that is still owned within your family there.
Now, Vic owns that club though.
She still should know those ladies.
Vic done shut that motherfucker down. Club Gloria does not exist anymore. We know Vic shut that joint down the moment Walter died. Get those bitches out my baby club. You already know.
Yeah, but Shanti got the girls to help distribute the pills as.
Which I did love this scene. I love the way this scene was set up. I love the way they showed it at the party, and I love just them two getting together. It's something that lots of people predicted. I want to say even back when we did it with Lynette and Stanley, our live, predict. Lynette said, like, what happened if them two get together? There you go.
We'll talk about it
because she definitely was right about that.
Yeah. So Stacy's mad and she wants everything on Vic, and she's pissed because Vic ain't delivering for her. So now her focus is on Vic for whatever reason. Anywho, I wasn't even going to give that any more attention. Miguel and Shay, as Miguel makes the pitch to cut off the Serbs. Shay obviously is a little suspicious about Miguel's appearance here, but Miguel keeps it clean and is like, I think we should cut the Serbs off. But Shay obviously is kind of like Miguel, like I guess in the sense of like, Miguel, I don't have you being a person to generate a plan like this. So where the hell did you get this idea
from? Where did this come from?
But anywho, it's interesting because a lot of what Grandma was saying is really coming to light here about Tommy being a few steps ahead, and she says how you need to be a few steps ahead. But this is a Tommy move planted. A move planted by Tommy for Miguel passed on that Miguel probably didn't even truly look full circle about the ramifications of this because, Grandma already did, and she already let him know. But we get the Serbs and Shay, which is the Estrada family. And listen, the Estrada family don't play. They look at Merkovich right in his face and says, "We're gonna cut off your supply, and the Serbs will go hungry for now." And we know Merkovich, we know the Serbs. They always willing to pull the trigger, and they're going to bounce back at some extent. But this was a this was a move for optics for us as the fans to realize like who is the most feared within the streets of Chicago. You could say the Serbs
Well,
clearly up until this point, because just like, oh,
it's whoever the connect is tends to be the most feared person.
yeah.
Like if Serbs is most feared, they wouldn't be buying from a connect. They would have taken over and did it themselves.
Yeah. And that's just what it is, man. Listen, he said, Merkovich, the cartel is no longer going to supply your product. So either they're going to either have to come up with something else. But the big word in that sentence is the cartel. It just showed you just how dominant they are across the state, especially during this time.
Yeah.
And I think this is just another move where like, hey, you may have wanted us to meet here for protection. Obviously your protection, so nobody does anything
out
silly.
In the open.
Yeah, you were smart. You was absolutely smart by that, because that could have went any other way. But at the end of the day, they deliver a message, and that's just what it was, you know. So, going on to the next thing here, we get Tommy messaging Mariah. Merkovich is cut off, which is the message that was delivered here.
Tommy
but also
legit sent a text saying with a picture of the skyline and said, "Look what you missing." Really?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, exactly. But he know he's being watched, and Vic is nervous. He, you know, Tommy's know he's being watched, but Vic is also very much nervous because I guess he feels like maybe Tommy may be on to him. Yeah. But Tommy's just on high alert because that's just what it is. Tommy's being smart about keeping the burners going, always changing meetup locations. I mean, that's just what it is. So like, I say that Vic's sort of nervousness or whatever you want to call it isn't very much justified. He only has these consciousness because of what he's doing, but this is truly this is the name of the game. He's just operating in a different sphere, you know.
That's why it's justified, because he's not accustomed to it. So anybody who becomes a CI, anything of this nature, they tell you it's steps that you go through, and one of them is you thinking everyone knows that you're doing this,
right?
And it makes you extra paranoid. And here, when Tommy confirms his paranoia by saying, "They're watching me, but I'm always watching them."
Yeah.
That's what scared the hell out of Vic.
Yeah. All right. So Janard and Shanti, where my man Janard has the jitters. AK.
My guy did the old Rocky jump.
Yeah.
To touch your hand. I said, okay. I did like that. I like the way they did that scene, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that. Yeah, I think that was all in that scene, honestly, just to see that Janard is struggling and trying to stay clean.
Struggling with sobriety.
Yeah.
Which is normal. You're a crackhead. Once you do crack, once you get addicted to it, because you can do it. Well, new crack, you can do it once and probably be fine. I don't know. I don't do crack. But like, once you get addicted to it and then you try to kick it, those jitters are normal. Like, we got to realize Janard should still be going through withdrawals.
Yeah.
Like, he stopped using crack because somebody said, "Nigga, stop using crack." And he like, okay, I'm going to stop. Old turkey. We saw Ray Charles shake on the bed for 3 months when he tried to give up drugs. Janard ain't go through not a single withdrawal symptom.
Yeah.
So that means that he's really fighting everything with him. So I did like that scene that they showed of him putting his hand out there to see if he's still shaking because he can't deal with everything.
Yeah. How much did you like this next scene? Because we had Tommy and Vic, Glock and the Glizzy together. And there's nothing more than you enjoy a Chicago Glizzy, apparently, that Tommy was overly fascinated by. And he gave you a shout out. So what was your thoughts about that Glock Glizzy?
Yeah, he was very mad that he couldn't put ketchup on that Glizzy. Like, hey man, I mean, pause. Loaded hot dogs are a thing in Chicago. Like,
yeah,
it's like the pizza, the deep dish pizza. That's not a pizza; it's a pie. It's not a pizza. I think the same thing with their glizzies. Like, they put so much shit on it, it's no longer that. Like, it's something else. And I think that's the scene right there, just to show, like, one, the taste of Chicago, but also to show that This is Tommy attempting to build something with Vic, but we're wondering, is he building it with Vic, or is he paying more attention to watch Vic?
Yeah, and it's a little bit of both, if you ask me, because Tommy is also preaching to Vic. He's also filling him out. He's always talking about staying a step ahead. This is again, the antics with the burners and whatnot. He also spotted the Crown Vic, which we already knew homeboy was going to end up getting got
Hot
at
as
some
hell.
point because he's so hot. He's right there. I mean, and it's great that. It's not great, but it just makes sense for the character of Tommy that the situational awareness to know that it's there. I would hate for us to be having to do this review right now and be talking about how the hell Tommy didn't know this cop was following him all episodes.
Hey, I love the point that they pointed that out immediately. That he like, no, they're right there. They catch me. I see everything they do.
Yeah,
one, it helps to show that Tommy's not an idiot, but also helps that it heightens Vic's paranoia.
1,000%. Yeah, for everything I was overly critical about earlier in the episode, the meter's starting to go back into the positive direction in terms of like the thing they didn't really much execute very good in this episode. This was like, please don't draw out my man Tommy being stalked by a police car, a Crown Vic at that, and this if he don't know. How the hell is he so tactical about the burners, the meeting locations? But he gets out on the street and all of a sudden he just don't see this Crown Vic behind him.
Cops don't even drive Crown Vics anymore. But if I saw old ass Crown Vic following me, you are clearly a police officer. It goes Crown Vic, Impala, Ford Taurus, Ford Explorer. In Virginia, it goes Volvos. Any of those cars pull up behind me, I'm assuming you're a police officer.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna fool me. Like, not in the Crown Vic. Nigga, you better pull up in a Camry. That would fuck me up. I'd be like, what? Nigga, I got pulled up my Camry. Like, I didn't know what the fuck to do.
A long time ago, I was in Tappahannock, which is Chris Brown's hometown, so I'll never forget this. And I got pulled over by a Dodge Intrepid, and I was like, yeah, I know I'm going to jail. I know I'm going to jail.
No, I forgot the Dodges. All them notes up there, Chargers and all. Those are the fancy cop cars.
I was like, a fucking Intrepid. Like, where the hell y'all get this joint from?
Hey, no bullshit. Unless you pulled over in 98, ain't no way in hell I should be pulled over by Dodge Intrepid.
Hey, the way the dudes around my way used to steal them joints, ain't no way a cop had an Intrepid, bro. I was like, nah, this is no way. That's as good as them having a Kia right now. This don't make sense.
Getting pulled over by Intrepid is like getting pulled over by MPV. Like, nigga, wait a minute. Nah. You robbing me. You're not pulling me over. You gotta be robbing me, Joe.
Exactly. So we go to the boxing gym now, and Tommy's there. He's looking at Shanti work. He's definitely fascinated seeing what she can do, hyping her up. But she ain't having it. She trying to boss up, calling him pastry ass and all that. But like, he went to collect. That's just what it is. And Tommy laid down the law. Shanti fell in line, and it was what it was. He got his money. She rolled out, and that's what it is. Everybody's trying to make money. Shanti should be kind of weighing her pros and cons, at least mentally at this point, because this is just what the business is. And he talked about, like, do you want to do it this way? You want to do it this way, man. Either way, I'm here, and this is what it is. I don't know all the antics and whatever about the pickup, but like, yes, he laid down, this is what it's going to be.
So what did you think? And what did you think? And what did the audience think about the loyalty comment he made with her? And he said, we reward loyalty. And the way Shanti reacted to him saying that, like that was a different type of reaction. That wasn't a reaction like, you full of shit. That was a reaction like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, could these be the seeds that changes her mind about Tommy?
Practice what you preach. You just gave Raheem this whole talk about loyalty. You also gave Janard this talk about loyalty. Yep. So understanding that Tommy, somebody you didn't fuck with, but is speaking your language, absolutely is a turning point in the conversation. You start to say, like, you know what? Forget this race. Forget this difference in complexion. He's about money. Obviously, money's being made. He's talking loyalty. Let's get it done.
So he said the black person is like, you know what? I'm not going to hold your race against you. We're making money. Boy, that's the complete opposite of ever happened.
Yeah, it's kind of
the black
definitely
person
kind
like,
of
I'm not gonna pay
yeah,
attention to your
definitely kind of
race.
wild. Definitely kind of wild
Exactly.
here. But after that, Vince gets the call to meet tonight because obviously Vargas is just so hot after just stalking Tommy, and he feel like this was what he needed to do. But this is because he's getting pressure from his supervisor, which happens to be
Worst thing in the
Stacy.
world.
So yeah, Stacy McMahon. But Vic starts to make this correlation of like, hey, me and you are alike, and Tommy lets him know that they're nothing alike. This also goes back to the lecture back in Ghost, where you start to evaluate folks and their privilege. And where was Tariq in that line outside where Effie was at? I think Effie and Tommy has a lot more in common, and Vic
Way
and Tariq
more.
has a lot more in common. If you're just trying to like create the graphs here in terms of how
Tommy
things
said
are.
it. Tommy said it base. Don't think you hit a double when you started on second base. Like he let him know you started with a huge advantage already.
Exactly.
So don't think you've done anything. You literally have done nothing because you
Exactly.
started with a huge advantage and you right where that start took you to.
Exactly. So Janard and Raheem walking, and Raheem is this gassy, my man, up. Talk about you ran CBI for 15 years, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, Janard runs into somebody that clearly did him some favors not that long ago, trying to see what Janard may be interested in. Janard is doing his best to resist. But
narcotics, Joe.
Right. And listen, this is Raheem who just got choked up. So obviously he's annoyed. He's annoyed at not only himself, but Janard, that they back on the streets. So they're corner boys. They're low men on the totem pole with CBI. All these things are not just going well with Raheem. But at the same time, Raheem needs to realize he just got choked out. If he wants to blame anybody, he might want to start with himself. Right.
But, hey, that's why he's going to Janard to plant those seeds, because he can't go to Shanti with it. Shanti be like, nigga, didn't I just choke you out? You didn't learn your lesson the first time? Stop talking about business.
Smack that man on the back of his head. Get the hell out of here.
And that drug dealer looked extremely happy when he saw Janard.
1,000%.
Must have been a repeat customer.
I had all the questions, not the time. That's all I'm gonna say.
He said, hey, I ain't never seen.
Hey, my man was willing to blow his whole cover. You could tell that was like his best friend. He was like, hey, man, it's so good to see you today. He might have gave him a discount.
Big pills, powder, same thing you had last time. I got it all, baby. Like,
jeez Louise.
Look, it's only a matter of time before Janard back on drugs and going to be calling Dragon Sword soon. He ain't gonna be able to help himself soon, Joe.
We get Diamond and Leon. So you got my man a new comment, Gianna with the groceries, and talked about being asked to speak at the Crimson Project, invited them, and Leon gave him advice to tell the truth. Nothing to talk about there. We'll come back to the conclusion of that later. Back at the private club, we get Shanti and Claudia, where Shanti definitely cleaned up very nicely, as Claudia says. But I gotta tell you, man, seeing Claudia and what's her homegirl name? Elise. Seeing them get robbed, I had all of the questions, because
that's not Claudia. Like, you literally, I mean, that's nothing like what we've seen from Claudia this entire 2 seasons, Joe.
Here's my questions, and I'm glad they kind of explained a little bit later. First of all, Claudia asking, are those guys anybody? And Shanti saying no. The fact that it's a private club and you are, and not only do you just target Claudia, maybe at least looks light, but Claudia should look established to a point that you shouldn't feel so just tempted to want to go rob her.
Who robs people and stays at the party that you rob people?
That's also wild too. That's also very wild. That's a lot of boldness. And if this is a private party, is there not security there? I just got a lot of confusion about what type of private party this is. And I still would think, even with Claudia not having no security, the Flynn name still should hold some weight.
That's all I was wondering when he did that. I'm like, so you don't know that she's a Flynn?
Yeah.
Walter, like none of that's popping into your head here.
Yeah, and then like Shanti obviously is super plugged in this place, and y'all just out here on the floor, no VIP, no private room. You got these Joe Smos.
They were in VIP. That's why the other girl brought the bottles. So they were in the section for VIP. But clearly this section, because it's a sex club more than anything else, it wouldn't have that same level of security. But it's just, again, it's weird that you're robbing people here. Like, makes no sense to do that.
Yeah.
And because it's Claudia's party, that she wouldn't be armed. This broad is armed everywhere she goes. And here she decides, I don't need a gun. And then Shanti got to come save the day like Wonder Woman in the No Man Land scene. Like, it made no sense. It neuters, in a way, the threat at times that we've seen Claudia to be. That she ran to Shanti to fix the situation.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I'm just confused. Anywho, we get Stacy and Vic because Stacy gets Vic prepared for that next correlation meeting. So get him wired hot with this necklace here. Man. And
always
then
necklaces when they give wires out now. Don't they think people have picked up on that by now? It's always a necklace. That's why when you meet with people, Joe, you watch everything, because nigga, don't come around me with new jewelry on. Don't come around me with nothing I've never seen you with before. Please believe I've analyzed everything you've ever put on before. If you come around me with some shit new, I'm going to assume it's some type of device that you have on you.
Yeah, if a motherfucker got a G-Shock on, can't trust that. It's you know something hot with it.
If a nigga got a G-Shock on, we have way bigger questions than this. What have you done wrong in your life that you are over the age of 18 and you still have a G-Shock? Like, it gotta be. It's a cutoff point for a G-Shock. I would respect a Casio more at this time period than a G-Shock.
Definitely. Let's get through the rest of the episode here. So we got Tommy cooking. Mariah's on the way. Janard is sitting outside the house. Yeah. And Janard, who's obviously with a strap, hyping himself up because he's about to go. He wants to go kill Tommy. I don't know where. I know you want to talk about this, so I'll wrap these little points up and then whatnot. But he catches a picture of Mariah and Tommy kissing outside, and he's calling him stupid ass pussy, chasing motherfucker, which is all very much true. But at the same time, she gets in there. He got wine for her. She wants a beer, so that should let you know something. But then, yes, this is what I was talking about earlier. She talked about like her friend Carlos, and you know how they were close and how he was killed, and she can't handle losing someone else close. And talk about going their own separate ways and never looking back. But Tommy rolls her back in, and she mentions like this won't be the first mistake I've ever made. So Janard,
she's admitting it.
Yeah, exactly. You
got to give it up to her, Joe.
1,000%. So Janard captures Mariah and Tommy together, and again with her still being concerned for Miguel finding out. There's a lot of little things. There's a lot of little implications for the future. Janard wanting to kill Tommy, as you mentioned, is the biggest question mark. What was the triggering fact that resulted into him in full-blown crackhead mode? He's sweating. My man is lit. Make this make sense. And folks, please get in the comments and let me know what you think the motivation behind Janard sitting outside Tommy's house. And yes, Janard knows where Tommy lived at because he obviously did that drive-by at the end of last season. But like, what would be the ultimate factor to killing Tommy with everything that's happening right now? Like, what would be that big thing? Not even a conversation, not even not even a contemplation with Raheem or whatever it may be. Like, what am I missing here? Was there a scene that was just deleted?
Nope. It went from him having that conversation with Shanti, and I didn't even see her put the battery in his back that would make him react this way. immediately to go say, "Nah, Tommy, you gonna get it." It's like, what? But no, she literally told you build up this plan, and we get them when they're fat. Like she's trying to make sure they're successful. Then you hit them.
Yeah.
I didn't understand at all why he was so mad to see Tommy's body, because I'd assume by now you'd be over this. Like, there's no need to hold this animosity in on Tommy. Like, Tommy did something to you. You tried to kill him. He tried to kill you. That's what happened here.
Yeah.
It was just weird. It was a weird, like, whole setup that, like, wait a minute. So it just didn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Back at the club, though, Shanti to the rescue, because Shanti backed Claudia up, and this looks like a scene out of Charlie's Angels minus one girl, I guess. I don't know. I guess you can't think Elise was there. She just didn't get in action, but yeah, they shot that in a way to very much make them look strong. So I will agree with what you said earlier. This was definitely a little bit of a narrative within the storytelling. So there's that. And honestly,
definitely knocked his ass out. And then put a gun on him.
Yep. So Miguel, we're back at Miguel, and Tommy comes in. He's asking Miguel for more product, which he agrees. But also too, they're trying to work a new negotiation with lower prices, but at the same time too, he says they got more than half on the south side, and they could be the one-stop shop for payments and re-ups and everything. And with that, more money is always good for business here. But as I mentioned, Diamond's worried Miguel will realize their plan as they're trying to come for a spot, because they're basically trying to replace his spot and connection directly with the cartel. So he mentioned
pointed out to it.
Yeah, he mentioned, like he said, he said, like, you have to do this, man. It's his neck on the line, but there's a lot of issues here I can foresee, but I'm not even going to give it the time, especially because of how much time we are on this recap here. But we definitely going to talk about Grandma in a second here.
That's the one right there.
Yeah. So Tommy and Diamond talk about the meeting with DSD. Also talking about coming for, again, his Miguel spot. Reeves, the PR officer, talks about looking forward to his speech. And Diamond's bugging. That's just very clear, because as he admits that, Reeves wants him to do the speech, and he's just bouncing all around. Tommy's just like, listen, go focus on what you need to do, and he'll do
the PO.
Yeah.
Tommy fully understand. You say whatever you got to say, so we get rid of them.
Yeah. So Claudia and Shanti, they agree to keep working with each other for however long they can. This is a true feminist movement, as I mentioned. They talk about putting men in their place. And it was interesting is because Shanti alludes to Claudia's ambition of her getting from her father, and Claudia acknowledges it. So why Shanti is very much like it's a pleasure doing business, and she talks about it later on to Janard, which is definitely not on the script for what Claudia wanted, because they wanted to keep the men out of it. Seems like Shanti's all about the money. Claudia is all about empowering women, even if she does have to acknowledge that she got this ambition from her father, which is very, very interesting, because you would have thought a comment like that would have been like, all right, hold on. Wait a minute now.
Oh shit. But that's the main problem with the way all of that was structured and set up. It brought way more questions than answers. Like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense that would be the full reaction to that.
Or
okay.
Or it erases the idea that they can never truly work together, because while collecting money and having your moment was cool, you two are clearly not compatible with one another.
No.
The ideologies are different here. Shanti's about the money. Claudia is about the empowerment and working through her father trauma that she's had, that she was never good enough as a woman. And at some point, Shanti's just going to just say, I don't give a fuck. We either make the
Shanti's
money
gonna
or
be
we
like,
don't.
we are here for business and business purposes only. Your
Yeah.
personal vendettas are just those. It's
Go
your
to therapy.
personal vendetta. Yeah,
Yes.
that's all you can say is go to therapy, work this shit out. And that's the problem with these two is that, well, not only that, but I don't think Claudia can team with someone for so long before she's going to want complete control.
1,000%. You already know. You already know.
Like she
You
wants to
already know.
prove that she's the person who can lead everything.
Yep.
She needs Shanti though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you would hope again that this would be a partnership that flourishes more.
Yeah.
But it's just so many things in the way of it that's telling you it's not going to work.
Yep. All right. So we get Diamond doing his speech as he kind of went away from his written speech and just kind of went off the top, only to get off stage and ask Gianna for dinner. Just for her to say sure, but also I'm not dipping out on Jamal. This
just like
City Boys.
Yeah. Just like a black woman, sure. She gonna let you know up front. I don't want no problem. A real woman, a real black, like a real woman who's honest about her shit. She's gonna let you know up front. Hey, by the way, no, we ain't together, so don't think I'm cheating. Yeah. I don't need you to think I'm cheating just in case I want to establish something with you, and then you then question that I met you because I cheated. She wants you to know that's not why we're doing this here.
I ain't got the time for this comment, but like, yeah, there's a lot of truth in that, plus a lot more that needs to be said. That's all I'm gonna say. This is wild, but yeah, I can't even. I don't got the time. Hey, y'all can let us know y'all thoughts about good old Gianna, who may got a good thing going, but she holding on hope for Mr. Abusive.
Them single mothers going. The single mama's gonna hold on to that baby daddy, Joe. They're gonna hold on to that baby daddy, Joe. That baby daddy got to do some the most messed up stuff in the world for her to be like, I'm not gonna give him a chance no more.
Yeah,
like she still wants to give him a chance. She still sees something positive in him. We literally saw him threaten you over a can of Miller Lite. There's nothing positive left.
So Vic and Vargas, we pushed the necklace with the wire tap on it, and also request us to put a tracker on Tommy's car. So Miguel and Grandma Abelalita, I believe is how you say it, Garcia.
You said it right.
Abuela Lita, I think is how you say it. So grandfather, she talked about her husband or grandfather was the most dangerous man living in the most dangerous city in Mexico. And also, gave a strong motivational speech to Miguel about preparing for war, which he had acknowledged that, she's been preparing him this entire time. She also talked about, everything that she did and sacrificed across the border with him. And mentioned that Tommy will come for you and always be, you need to be always steps ahead of him, or you're either going to end up blind or dead like your grandfather. And that's what you start to talk about the meeting with the DSDs as Miguel is looking to try to parlay a plan, and mentioned that the Garcia family will be the only connect in Chicago. But the most important thing here is that she warns to not take an eye off the ball, and you got to watch out for Tommy, man. And while Tommy and Vic go to meet with the Division Street Devils, obviously Miguel's going to do the same, which at this point will be too late because Tommy and him already did it. But what is your thoughts about Grandma?
But Tommy and them didn't really strike a real deal with them yet.
They didn't. But they had the conversation, so they're still a step ahead of that opening conversation and the potential. I mean, they did get a deal later on for sure. And they also have a level of truce, kind of start off a little rough, but either way, we learn that everybody's not all on the same page or drinking the same Kool-Aid with the Garcia family, with the cartel, with the Mexicans, shall we say, later on in the episode. But what is your thoughts about Grandma and her sort of laying out her history, clearly her involvement with things, her knowledge to the game. A lot of good stuff there in this conversation. What's your thoughts?
This is where I got the comparison from when she's telling Miguel, you need to watch out. You need to stay steps in front of him. I think she was telling Miguel that because she'd already taken the moves to stay steps in front of Tommy.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we get Mariah. I think she's a key part and a key clog. Because Grandma almost said, keep him close enough where you know everything about Tommy. Who's the better person that would know everything? Because Tommy don't talk to people in Chicago. He talks to her. Talks to her often. And I think that was part of the setup, is that we know who Granny's siding with. Like, duh. But she's letting you know up front, like, hey, this is what happened to my husband. I saw what happened to him when he got too complacent. Do not become complacent. And then we hear all of this, and then we get the plan laid out completely that's exactly what Tommy wants to do.
Yeah.
Like Grandma, like she got a one of them fortune ball or tarot cards in front of her where she just picking them, and Tommy is the villain here, and she knows better. But again, it's also the distrust because Tommy's white.
Yeah,
they don't trust that at all. Not older, Latino women, they're not going to trust that at all.
Yeah, 1,000%. I'm gonna move on, and you all can let us know your thoughts about the conversation and the warnings that Grandma is setting place for Miguel and the Garcia family. And by the way, with her being a part of the family and the legacy of the family, just understand that like Miguel can fuck all this up, but she doesn't plan on going down with that ship. So just know somebody
this is not the Titanic.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody ain't saying all this just to see the whole thing be compromised by the hands of one person. She's basically, and I agree with you with the Mariah thing, she's basically saying, you are given the opportunity to make this right. If you fail, it's on you completely. Just know the rest of this Garcia family is going to be okay. So we'll see.
But it also solved the big. It also solved the big problem for our last audience members who kept on arguing with us. That was their mother. You know what I'm saying? That's their grandmother. Just watch this episode. It helps clear that up if you're still confused.
Yeah. So Tommy and Vic, as I mentioned, they go to see the DSDs. And Tommy Carr takes another L, getting a brick thrown through the back window. They meet the head and Chabo. Who, they proposed to work together under United Correlation, which obviously he's just like, hell nah, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, they talked about the Estrada Cartel cutting off the Serbs. So listen, you got no choice but to join because you're not going to be getting your product from the Serbs since they've been cut off and they're dry. And then, Chabo gives his praise that Chicago's been waiting for somebody like you. Miguel's old school shit. He's Mexican and we Puerto Rican, so he treats us in that way. This is a very
sounds about right.
Yeah,
1,000% right.
Yeah. If y'all don't know about like the slanders, just look it up. I was gonna say it, but just look it up. Now I'm not even gonna give attention to it. But like
for people who are of our race, it's equivalent to the way some Black Americans treat Africans.
No, reverse. It's how Africans try to treat.
I ain't gonna let you get that off. Like, nah. I know that's the stigmatism about it, but it's a certain phrase and a certain wording that we used to.
You can see it both ways. Is what I'll say.
Yeah,
you can see it. Okay. Listen. Don't act like this resurgence of royalty ain't just come about in like the last 15, 20 years, and you already know where I'm getting at with that because. People started to puff their chests off about where they came from and what they got and all this other stuff.
Hey, I know we got to go to the next topic, but the funniest shit I've heard was when I don't know what I was watching on Instagram and somebody said, "What do you call 50 Cent in Nigeria?" And they said, "What? The $400 million man." That's clearly the money ain't money in no head, Joe. The equivalence of money is not the same, Joe.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
Shit. That's true.
But But you know, Chavo makes it very clear that they like the Serbs over Miguel, and he said, "Listen, if you
Yes.
beat his price, fuck him. Let's make some money. I get in a new window and handshake." So they do sort of position a deal here, and agree to work together. And Vic gets the whole thing on the wire here, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
The next thing we get, Diamond gets a text. Gianna shows up. And this is the whole thing. His shirt being unbuttoned, and she's talking
like
about, I don't
video.
Right. I don't mind staying in. Well, here we go. And the Stars contract deployed. And thank you, God.
Chill. She ain't say you can order some Chinese food.
Nothing.
Some red lobster.
She said smack these cheeks real quick, and I'm gonna execute my Stars contract clause 8 and get this done right now. But yeah, Diamond and Gianna had sex, and man, them cheeks was cheeking up there, looking good. So
double cheek on a Thursday.
So Claudia and Elise have a conversation, and Elise is suggesting that Claudia moves her operation into another private club, but Claudia wants to bring Shanti too. So Elise, I'm going to say, wants to be okay. This is interesting. Elise is interested into the drug game, it seems, but she also is saying, "Well, I'm interested in you, so I'm down to whatever you want to do." And why Elise also positions herself as saying, "Well, all you need is me," and doesn't want Shanti to be in it. And it's interesting because Claudia wants Claudia is
her partner.
In a position. Yeah. Claudia's in a position that's interesting because not only would she potentially have real love with Elise, somebody she has history in, but then she has somebody with Shanti who she could potentially have real power with. And Elise is making her choose. Shanti is all about the business. It's a situation we haven't seen Claudia in, but again, you know, Claude wants to bring Shanti, Elise doesn't. Elise already wants to be a part of the game, but also is already nicked because they got robbed and wants to move to another private club. Because listen, if your homeboy or whoever, your family member runs a club and you had to hook up, why would you go anywhere else? You ever had a friend?
That's the first club we're going to.
1,000%. You ever have a friend, like y'all have a hookup somewhere and you go there and then just oddly just like they don't want to go there no more. You like, what's the deal, bro? Like, why you don't like this spot no more? And it'd be something so random. It'd just be so random why all of a sudden they don't want to. And it literally doesn't have a legitimate reason why you should.
I've had hookups at places. I've had hookup with bartenders.
That's what I meant.
Certain places where you go, definitely. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, nah, man, we need to go somewhere different. I'm tired of going to the same place.
Yeah,
nigga, do you know I get 5 for 1 here? 5 for 1. I go wherever the hell you want to go.
I get a receipt that says $5, and it got some random side on there.
Wild shit on there, Joe. Some wild shit on there.
Yeah.
No, I didn't order 5 orders of fries for $1. Didn't. Not me stumbling out here ordering that many fries. Like, no, but again, yeah, it's.
I think
this
we
is a
collectively
power. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we collectively need to put the antennas up on Elise. Elise may love Claudia, but I think there got to be something else with this ish. Either she's just flat out scared or nicked because of what happened, even though she was the one that had the knife to her. But then you should feel okay because Shanti comes in and cleans it up and says, "I run this place. It ain't never going to happen again." So for you to just want to move the whole operation where everybody just ate, Shanti good, Claudia good, and you trying to move it, something up with this girl here.
Family, she said it. It's a club that her mother's a part owner in. So the more if we bring you in, these drugs flowing, the more people show up, the bigger revenue it is for my mom.
Yeah.
And we get to run it out of this club. Which didn't make any sense. I love the point that Claudia was like, no, it's not gonna work. Like it's a clean break from what Elise was attempting to lead. But again, it's classic power. She's that classic character that's supposed to step in between business.
Yeah.
So we need to see exactly where this goes.
Do you think she has any connection to those dudes?
Ooh. I did not put that together. That would be fucked up because Claudia would kill her.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%. Because, like, listen. These dudes robbed them and then got back to work of just chilling in the club.
And waited for strippers. Literally, one of them was like this. I'm like, did you just rob somebody? Like, you're so comfortable.
They're not affiliated with anybody.
You rob somebody in the club and then you're just going to stay there.
Yeah. So, y'all let us know what y'all think about that one. We obviously going to have a lot to talk about on our Sunday show with that one.
Man, because you already know where this is going.
1,000%. So we got our last two things here. We get Shanti and Janard. Janard gets her chain back, looking to wine and dine her. She shows the bag, lets her know that she teamed up with Claudia for the hustle. And then Janard's like, listen, I got this picture of Tommy and Mariah, and he's ready to put it on blast. He's ready to throw that thing on the gram. And she says, like, listen, fuck him. Let him fuck himself up when we watch the show. He wants to put him on blast. That was going to be my question, and I'll just throw it to the audience here too. Do you think Janard should put him on blast instantly? Is there something he could leverage from that, or is Shanti right and we just sit back and just watch the show go?
Because if you sit back and watch it, so many more eyes get onto this. Why do you feel the need to send it? Because Miguel is the type of person where you send it and he's just going to see the contents of it and not care enough for who sent him that damn letter.
Yeah,
leave it alone. If it's not overly affecting you, leave it alone and see what happens.
Yeah. And Janard, he's basically telling Shanti, be careful with your business with Claudia. And obviously Shanti tells Janard to keep the picture. So both of them have their reserves about what they were doing. So whatever. But shout out to crackhead Janard trying to wine down his girl. Got the chain back and all that other good stuff. Last thing of this episode is Tommy and Vic. Vic now saying we make a good team. So he had to change his statement up from saying we got so much in common till we make a good team. And they go their separate ways. Tommy spots the feds. And then he walks up on them and says, interesting, little debrief going on here. And says, are you a fucking snitch? And if you're not, then kill him. And Vic kills Vargas to prove that he's not a snitch. But did he? Did he actually prove?
No, not at all. You prove that under pressure I can get you to do what I need you to do. That's all you did. Matter of fact, you caught a body. Guess what? You technically can't be a CI anymore. Not in their program. Not once you catch a body.
Yeah.
At that point, Tommy can ruin everything for you.
Because apparently you can kill feds left and right out here. D-Mac got a fed. Vic got a fed.
And he shot him straight in his head at a meetup. I know they're going to show the cleaning, but it was just... It didn't feel as impactful as the deaths that we've seen in the past with power.
Because they haven't built the Vargas up person at all.
Yeah. Like it's we understood why it had to happen. Fully understand that. But just build out things a little bit differently for us to keep us fully engaged into this episode.
Yeah.
I loved everything with the women in this episode, except for Shanti bossing up on folks. Found that unbelievable. But everything else was absolutely great in this episode.
Yeah. Well, you all let us know, because that will wrap it up for us for episode 207. Chicago is heating up. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts about tonight's episodes, things we got right, things you kind of feeling on our predictions, all that other stuff. Just get in the comments, let us know all that good stuff. And
obviously, and also with the crackhead stuff, just let us know if you're a crackhead, if you've digmatized somebody. How did that go? If you've been digmatized by a crackhead, or if you have been pussy whipped by a crackhead, let us know. Like, what happened? Is this real? Does this happen to normal, everyday people?
Yeah.
Is the dick so good that you just like it throws you off and you forgive them for being addicted to drugs and stealing your necklaces to sell them for drugs?
No doubt.
Shanti was happy. I said, Shanti, Jesus. Shanti was happy as hell to get that boxing necklace back. But no questions was asked how he got that necklace back.
Yeah.
It should have been questions about that.
Because we know how you lost it.
This nigga. Look, did you play the Dragonzord flute to get the necklace back? Like, I just need to know. Like, what did you do to get that necklace back?
Jeez.
And then he was so happy about the necklace when he got it. But then by the time it came to tell Shanti about it, he was more happy about the picture he took. He almost hit her with the, girl, I know you like this, but bitch, look what else I got. I was like, come on, Janard. Like, they're doing a great job and also showing that while Shanti in a way is whipped by him, and that's what her crew is concerned about, Janard is 1,000% in on her.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part, because he feels the need to tell her everything.
Yeah.
And that's going to backfire eventually.
Yep, she's using it all. It's chess. She's going to use it all for collateral, and we're going to need Janard to wisen up before it's too late. But he almost there.
We'll
see. Anyway, folks, y'all let us know in the comments, and we will see you all this Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our live show with you all, with a special guest, which we will just have to see when you get there. It's going to be special for sure. But that'll do it for tonight's episode, and we'll see you all then.